Welcome back to the AI Ripple Effect podcast, everybody. Today, we are joined by Kenny Gouts, who is a material handling consultant at Southern States TOYOTalift. Kenny, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much, Adrian. I'm really looking forward to talking with you here today and going over all the latest, in AI. I really enjoy the subject, so excited to talk to you about it.
I know that you've got a lot of experience in this space, and we were really looking forward to getting your viewpoints on the subject. But why don't we start by taking a step back and you giving us a little bit about your background and your journey to where you are today at the Southern States TOYOTalift?
Yeah, so we operate in the kind of little known material handling industry. When people ask me like, what do I do? It's always like, okay, here we go. I got to explain. But yeah, basically we help people move stuff. That's it. It's that simple. I've been doing that for 9 years. We design warehouse spaces. We implement a lot of automation within that. We can design storage systems in there as well. And we also sell forklift equipment just to move that heavy stuff that people can't do. I've been doing that for 9 years, and yeah, it's a booming industry, and it looks like it's not going to stop for the foreseeable future.
Fantastic. And who are your typical customers that you serve at TOYOTalift?
It's everybody, Adrian. It's crazy. If everywhere you look around, that item has been moved by a forklift or stored in some sort of racking systems. Like when I first started, I told my dad what I was doing, and he's like, "Who needs that?" Well, everybody. It's just behind the scenes. You don't really see it. Like I've had it in a day where I've went to Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' rocket factory. And in the same day, I've gone to like a little mom and pop Spanish bodega. Literally the full spectrum of businesses out there utilize our equipment.
That's a great spectrum of folks to engage with. And in your multi-customer engagement, Kenny, what are you picking up as key themes in the market at the moment from a macro level?
Yeah, the pandemic kicked off a lot of labor issues. That's where I think the shift in the industry occurred. It was, let's find a way where we can keep going without people. There's been a huge push for automation, and there's a lot of products out there now with automated guided vehicles to robots to pallet shuttles, a lot of stuff just getting people out of the mix. They're very expensive. Robots don't call in sick, and that's driving a lot of really good ROIs for companies to ultimately make that investment in that product. That's probably the biggest shift I'm seeing currently.
Right. And is that compounded by any pressures from a cost perspective of people because of the varying environmental conditions around tariffs, for example? Are people then saying, well, let's just consolidate, make sure we don't hire and look at automation as a vehicle for a balance sheet play?
Yeah, I think the increased costs we've been seeing over the few years have had a huge effect in that. But also, I think the biggest shift in cost was people have gone from just in time delivery to now just in case. They're actually storing more stuff, which ultimately increased costs. They're getting, instead of just one supplier, they're getting multiple suppliers now just to make sure that they have a secured flow of their business. So absolutely, that's a big increase into the new trend that we're seeing.
Sure. And throughout this ever-changing environment that you're experiencing firsthand, what's your take on AI as a positive force to help these organizations, or a negative force, say, from a workforce displacement perspective?
Yeah, I've had those thoughts before because I recently was involved with the project and I saw that it was going to be eliminating 30 jobs. I was kind of struggling with it, to be honest with you. I didn't grow up to want to like take people's livelihoods away, but I thought about it for a minute, and it did occur to me that those jobs are not great. I don't believe truly people should be doing that type of work. I really think that life is more than sitting on a forklift all day long. And it just so happens that this is what that person found to be fruitful. And I think the onus has to be on another, whether it's the state or another company, to help facilitate what else. Well, what should that person be doing besides this not good job? It's definitely something that will have to be worked on in the future. And I don't even want to begin to try to offer a solution on something like that. But it is something that needs to be kept in mind. So it is making people's jobs easier. I think it should in theory, streamline operations, which we would imagine are going to reduce costs. So whether they get translated to us, the consumers, is another question, but that would be the general idea.
Sure. I mean, obviously, you guys have amazing automation in the context of robotics and movement within facilities. But are you seeing an adoption on a more a whole scale perspective around back office operations as well as a sort of front office and warehouse robotics?
I think it is like a multifaceted approach where front side of the house is finding ways to automate a lot of these processes. Same with the backside where I work in. They're finding ways to do that as well. So maybe they're going to meet in the middle and you're going to have a nice streamlined operation. But as it stands right now, I don't think there's one company that's doing it all just yet.
Interesting. And in your journey that you've been on, say, over the past 12, 24 months, 36 months, what have been the key challenges that you've encountered in what you've been focusing on, and how have you overcome those challenges, Kenny?
Yeah, this year was the tariffs. Oddly enough, a lot of the really good automation projects, like automated guided vehicles, for example, they're made in China. So they're Chinese based companies. And when you hear things like, okay, we're going to have 150% tariff on those products, what was originally before the tariffs going to be a 2-year ROI for a company, you could imagine how long that would push the ROI out, making that project basically, no, we're not doing it. That's been the biggest challenge in that regard. But it's also a lot of getting people to just not do the same thing over again and understanding that we need to make a change. That's the hardest part. And in this environment, we are seeing a slowdown in our market, in the economy. And I think that budgets are becoming more front of mind when you start talking about conceptual, like our warehouse or our operation should be operating like this. Okay, well, how much is that going to cost? We don't have the money to do all that. What our approach is now, how can we kind of parcel that out and start building it slowly in stages to ensure that we can meet budgets and kind of guide their operation to that future state.
Got it. Thanks for sharing. That's very great insight. And if hypothetically speaking, if you, with the benefit of hindsight that you've gathered over the last period of time, and you're able to go back, say, into a point back in the past, what would be the one thing you would change?
I would have learned to code, no questions asked. I use AI in my role as much as I can, and I just wish I knew how to code because a lot of that you can do what's called vibe coding now, so you can have AI write a lot of the code, but it's not perfect. You see in the news all the time, AI is going to be taking over. You're going to have an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator knocking on your door any day now, but I don't see that as the case yet. You got to fight with it a lot. You needed to have like human in the loop. You got to review this sort of stuff. So as somebody who wants to make like products and stuff, I can't do that just yet. So I wish I could go
Sure.
back in time and just learn how to even basic code.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That's great insight. Yeah, coding, I agree with you, is a critical skill still, and keeping these AI large language models on the right track is very difficult, and also your cost. I mean, that's another thing you need to control with coding. So, looking forwards for Southern States TOYOTAlift, what is the future, product wise, expansion wise, geography speaking, or is there something else that you have on the horizon?
Product wise is still going in the automation route. Assuming the cost does come down and we can kind of push those tariffs to the side. I think that's the route a lot of these companies are going to be because a two year ROI, a lot of companies don't even need approval for something like that. Oh, that's for the foreseeable future. That's going to keep going on. And I could hopefully suspect that Toyota will also get more involved on the integration side of it too, because a lot of these systems would want to be operated with somebody's warehouse management system or their ERP. So being able to also have like an all-encompassing solution would be great. But as with Southern States too, we could be utilizing a lot of the new technology for prospecting, mapping territories out, identifying ideal customers in a given area, automating a lot of the initial sales process, and helping design what those projects look like. That's to me the key for people who might have an operation is, hey, how can we see this first before committing to that? Then mapping that roadmap out on how to get to that ideal future state. I think as long as we can start making that process a lot more seamless, we'll start to grow in that market a lot.
I think you're right. Often the big bang approach can scare a lot of customers if you go too fast. Certainly with a lot of these modern technologies in the automation side, I think that's a great perspective. So, Kenny, for those folks out there watching and listening who are interested in finding out more about Southern States TOYOTAlift, where can they get that information?
Obviously, our website, it's sstlift.com, or you can just hit me up on LinkedIn. It's my name, Kenny Gouts. And yeah, we can take a look, see what you guys going on, and seeing how we can help. It's that simple.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure that we include all of those links in the description of the podcast. Kenny, it's been a pleasure to have you on today. And for everybody else out there, thank you for joining this episode. We will see you in the next episode of the AI Ripple Effect podcast. But for now, Kenny Gouts, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adrian. It's a pleasure as well. And hopefully speak to you again.